What do I feel?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a party guy. Taking a step back, this is going to get a little esoteric, but I think humans organize into social systems. One social system is a family, one is a company. And I think that the government is a social system. The point of a social system is to get influence to achieve the things you want to achieve by aggregating together, by creating a tribe, by creating a system. And that's what a government is. It lets a lot of people pool resources to get things done as a group that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get done individually. Same with a company, same with a family, to support each other, et cetera. And I think that the problem with democratically elected governments, or all governments for that matter, frankly, is like any other system. And I've said this in the past, they have a natural incentive to grow. I met with a government person the other day, well-known government person, and I was struck by the tone. I've been struck by the tone on multiple people I've met from the government on here's all the next things I'm going to get done, and here's how we're going to grow and do more and be bigger. Just like if you're running a company, that's your incentive, that's your model of thinking. And like with your family, you want to grow the balance sheet for your family, you want to have another home, you want to take care of, you want to build security, et cetera. So governments as an organizing system are no different. And so I think that in a democracy, over time, there is, as Sachs points out, a group of folks who get elected, and as a result, like a philosophy that endures in that system, that is all about overcoming the power that is, that we all view there to be powers that are keeping us from doing the things we want to do. And I think that this is the ultimate manifestation of what happens, is that you push the government to be as big as possible with no end, and you push the government to destroy any system of power that gets in the way of those who are able to vote these folks in. And now a lot of folks who thought that they were supporting liberal causes to help those in need are realizing that you're actually repressing minorities in the process, that there are minorities that are viewed to be powerful, like Jews, that there are minorities that are viewed to be unfairly advantaged, like those in the tech industry, that there are minorities who are viewed to be unfairly advantaged, like billionaires. And I know that this sounds insane to say that, those terms, but that's the objective, is to destroy any system of power, any individual of power that has any form of leverage over us. It's also why I think we've generally been techno-pessimistic in the West since the late 1960s, early 70s, is because technology has been viewed as this point of leverage for creating a power system for a minority of the people. So I generally view this as part of a longer arc and a natural kind of conclusion to this stuff. And, I'm not trying to be super pessimistic about where things are going, because I do see that a lot of folks are now waking up to this reality, and they're like, so my anecdote is I've had a lot of folks tell me in the last couple of weeks, we have to be thoughtful about how we elect and how we govern so that we create a more balanced,
what's the end game in your framework?
My end game is socialism. I think that's where things go, ultimately, long term. I think that there's a recapturing and a redistribution of power and value. I think that there's some degradation of the system that erodes to looking like something like France. It's not like a nasty end. It's like a slow whimpering, like you end up looking like France or something. And so that's my end game in that framework. And I believe strongly, this is why we talked about this with Dalio, that there are political actions, decisions, voting mechanisms that hopefully we can put into place to stall out and to stop that from happening. Because I do think that human progress is critical for the majority of people that are disadvantaged, and we need to enable it.
Okay, so I'm guessing you're on the I don't want to be France side.
100%. That's right.
Okay, so what is the...
I want to be the Wild West. I want to be the early 19th century.
What do you think that we should do in America right now?
I think we should unwind a lot of laws. And I think we should have as a mandate, the objective is, how do we get more of our economy and more of our people in this country to be supported by and progress through private industry rather than public support? The federal government and the role that the federal government has in funding industry, in hiring individuals, in pumping dollars into markets, I think has gotten so far beyond the tell that we, as we know, are being sloshed back and forth based on the decisions being made by the Federal Reserve. That should have never been the case. The free market should have always been allowed to operate. Progress should have always been allowed. The government should have stopped people from being hurt, should stop negative outcomes. But the idea that the government should come in and start to run things and employ people and get to the scale that it's gotten to. This is the largest organization in human history, the US federal government. It has got the highest dollar spend, the highest budget of any organization in human history. Even accounting for the Roman Empire, there should be accountability standards for every law, which is how do I know that this thing did what it was supposed to do, and how do I measure if it didn't? And by the way, if it doesn't, and the dollars aren't returned to me at some multiple, we shut that law down. We shut that department down. We move on. There should be an accountability standard for every dollar that's spent. But we don't describe any outcomes. We don't say, here's the standard of measure, and here's the accountability. And if this doesn't work, and if this dollar isn't returned to us, we don't spend it anymore. And we don't keep doing this thing over and over again, and then layer something else on top, and layer something else on top. And then you've got 10 layers of nothing accountable to anything, and the thing costs 10 times as much to do half as much. I am optimistic still. I'm always an optimist.
Oh, make sure you put in that caveat. Good.
Yeah.